Greetings, people from the wider world, broadcasting live from the Academy at the largest library in the known realms. This is Storytime Q&A, a Realm Jumper talkback show. Hello, everyone. My name is Juno. I am art director as well as host for this evening. Joining me today are three fantastic guests. First up is Exodus, the new voice of Ryder.
A pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Next is Fennec, one of our music producers.
Hello, everyone.
And finally, we have MidknightBlue, the writer for this episode.
Hello.
How are you all doing tonight?
Doing good. Chilling.
Lovely.
Nice.
Excellent. Shall we get into some questions?
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Let's start with this one. This is a question for everyone from the lovely Queen Creeps. What do you all think about the world of Elysium? What was your thought process when portraying it, whether it's art, music, writing, etc.? This is the first time that we've finally seen the realm that Oliver, Jen, and Ryder come from. So I guess, what are all of your thoughts about it and just the general vibes?
Well, I know on my end, Elysium was one of my favorite realms.
Planes,
It's Realm
realms, whatever
Jumper.
you want to call it.
Oh God.
They're all interchangeable. They're worlds.
Worlds, whatever. It was one of my favorites to write for, because I don't know if anyone noticed through the art direction, but it's definitely meant to be noir detective themed to match all the characters that are from there. And that's just a really enjoyable genre. I really like detective stories and mysteries, and it's an enjoyable place to write for. It's got a nice contrast with the Academy, because the Academy's everything's light and happy and fluffy most of the time. And then there's a very big tone shift to Elysium, which I kind of enjoyed, especially when writing.
Yeah, we get into the grittier side of, it's a vast multiverse, so it makes sense that some worlds are not so kind to the characters and vice versa.
Absolutely. I'm also a big fan of noir and detective stories. So for me, this was a fascinating world to dive into. I think the tone shift was absolutely phenomenal after the events that happened in episode 9 and the more happy-go-lucky elements of the prior episodes, except when things weren't. So it was very nice seeing this like seedy underbelly of this crime-riddled city just bathed in monotone. Another very interesting element, just this perpetual black and white and the effects that has on everyone and everything around it. Just a fascinating place all around. And of course, the supernatural elements thrown in, which were also a very nice touch. Me being a totally non-biased fan of BioShock.
Of course.
Listen, I love BioShock. I had to include some stuff for it.
It's not hard to see the what's the word? The little Easter eggs thrown in.
Listen. I'm just gonna repeat that. Listen. I like the games I like.
No, so understandable. I think this was one that I missed until it was brought up in a call we were in the other day, but I think it was Nemo who said this place would look better underwater. I completely missed that, and then it was pointed out, and I was like, wait, that's so funny.
Yeah, that's directly, that's a reference to Rapture.
God, amazing.
Yeah, I love just noir stuff in general. I love the vibe, it's really cool. I love, like, the perpetual grayscale is a really cool thing. Especially like stuff like how it interacts with like Tina's powers and stuff as well.
True, yeah. She doesn't get to use her powers in this world.
Oh yeah. And in terms of like music, like listen, any excuse for me to use a saxophone in a song, I will take.
God.
Hell yeah.
Hell yes.
Gotta love jazz.
It's the perfect time for it. I guess since we got a couple people who are new to the show, let's get into a little bit of what you specifically do. So for Fennec, what is your favorite thing about being a musician for the show? Any tracks, any favorite tracks you've made? This is from radio.
God, honestly, like the like I want to say my favorite thing is just being able to contribute to this show because I really like Roll Jumper. It's a really good show.
I'm
Uh,
glad.
yeah. Uh, but I also just like I like getting to make tracks for characters. Some of my favorite tracks I've made. One of the ones for this episode, the theme of Elysium, Grey on Grey on Grey. That was one of the first songs I did with my new keyboard I have.
Oh,
So
cool.
it was nice being able to do that. I really like how it came out. There's a there's a lot of tracks I made that I like. I really like the one I did for episode 8 as well, the Jen Luther theme called Results, because I got to time
Good.
that one to the scene.
Yeah. You did. How many songs did you do for this episode? Like three?
For this episode, I did 3.
Crazy.
Yeah,
we
I
we
think
love the musicians. You guys pop off. It's insane.
yeah, I think what happened here was I think a few people ended up being busy, and
Oh,
I will
right.
take like any excuse to make a song. So
Fair enough.
You killed
yeah,
it. So well
Understandable.
done.
It's a very good episode. And in general, the musicians do a lot
yeah.
of really cool work for the show, so it's very fun. But a question for you, Chris. This was a very big episode for Ryder as a character. How did you feel about making it your debut with this hard hitter? This is from Spy.
So I was honored more than anything else. I've actually been watching the show since the first episode. Me and my friend Queen stumbled across it almost kind of like by accident, and
Mhm.
she tuned me into it. We've been following it ever since. We love the characters, we love the world, we love the concept. So being able to portray my personal favorite character of the whole crew is immensely rewarding and fulfilling, and I'm touched and honored that I got to do it. As for the theme of this episode, I couldn't have asked for a better one to walk into. Again, since I love noir detective stories and with dark, gritty undertones, I just got to like step right into this like personal dream of mine of exploring these very disturbing controlled cities with detective elements and crime and gangs. It was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful. And I tried my best to portray Ryder as someone that's clearly been haunted by his past and is not very happy to be here. I
No.
mean, who can blame him, right?
No,
But
No.
it's a hellscape. That's fair.
while it may have been for him, I was giddy on the inside. So he wept
Good.
while I cheered.
Exactly my mood when writing. Exactly my mood.
Hell
Good.
yeah.
It's so fun having you on the show.
Thank you.
Just but just I'm curious as to your experience because as we are recording this, we are currently bringing all of the new people for season 2 into the server behind the scenes for production sides of stuff. And so I'm curious your thoughts on just the process of joining the team and sort of your experience with what drove you to Ryder as a character.
Oh man. So more than anything, I guess my biggest regret is that I'm just such a busy individual that I wish I had more
Mhm.
time to spend with everybody. Like others can attest to this that they're familiar with me. I I'm so rarely online. So
Mhm.
I would love to just be like coming into these servers and jumping in calls and being like, "Hey, what's up, everybody? Woo!" and joining party calls and whatnot. And whenever you're doing them, I'm always from a distance like, "Yeah, wish I could be there." I'm I'm far away, but I wish I was there.
It's okay. We're all too
Um,
terminally online. It's a problem.
I God,
Yeah.
I miss those days. I used to be like that years ago. Spoilers to everyone that doesn't know. I am old. I am like middle aged. I'm mid-30s. Like I'm an old man. So long ago, when I was but a starry-eyed child, and the world was my oyster. Oof, I was online
Mhm.
17 hours a day. Now I get back pain. Ugh.
Oh no.
Oh God, not the back pain.
Oh god. But yeah, Ryder. So I identify with Ryder a lot as an aging older gentleman, but more so it's just a man that's like been around the block, that has seen the best and worst of humanity, has been tempered by those expectations and his reality. Being a detective, one of like my just personal favorite occupations one could possibly have in both fantasy and real life. I was immediately drawn to his more serious personality and the connections he has. He offers those not so much like a voice of reason for the group, but more like a voice of like seriousness that really brings everyone into focus when the need arises, which I love being. And it's just an immense joy to be able to portray that here in the more serious moments and the, I'm sure, more comical moments, which will happen later down the line. But yeah, it has been a true delight just being brought in for this character that I have so much respect for and getting to portray it again. And I love sitting down and recording for him every time. It's always a delight.
Hell yeah. This is from Meg, but a question for Fennec. Do you ever look at the art or scripts before composing a piece? Does it help you to know what it looks like, is going to sound like, or is it easier to come up with the soundtrack from just a description?
So really this depends on the song I'm doing.
Mm.
But also I tend to work very fast. So a lot of the time I will be done before the art is done.
Yeah, the musicians have a habit, as a little peek behind the curtain, the musicians have a habit of being the first ones to get all of your stuff done within like a week. It's literally insane.
I think didn't for a couple of them, you guys have gotten it within the first couple of days, right?
Yes.
It's very
Yeah.
People have
insane.
Wow.
submitted music within 12 hours of the script being announced. You guys are crazy.
You guys are cooking. My God. Respect.
But I do definitely look at the scripts, especially if it's for something I'm trying to time to a scene.
Mhm.
I'll definitely like look at the specific scene and work out what it needs to sound like. So I think in that sense it does like help knowing what it sounds like. I think for the one in this episode, I actually like recorded the lines myself and then tried to time it to that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's that's something I've never thought about. Like, actually, I mean, it makes sense, but like timing the
yeah,
music to the dialogue. That's so cool.
I haven't done it a whole lot, but because it is like a lot harder than just like making a looping track, but
Mhm.
it's definitely cool when I can do it because it work and get it to work. Um, so yeah, I definitely do at least like look at the scripts before doing stuff.
I'll throw this question at Midnight. But from radio, who exactly is Snyder? The character who shows up to be sort of a one-off antagonist for this show. What did he do before taking over the family business? And did he have any other encounters with Ryder before?
Uh, okay, so yeah, a little bit of Ryder's view of the back. We get Ryder's view of the backstory in this episode. We got Oliver's in the mid season about how he views his past. We have Ryder's now, and we may or may not get another person's opinion on what happened in those events at some point in the future. No spoilers. But in Ryder's kind of point of view, he was trying to stay low. It's really we didn't name him. I personally am terrible at naming people, so Bubbly had to name Snyder. I was just calling him something else, which is a
It's
BioShock reference. Um
It's really funny that it's Snyder and Ryder. It kills
Yeah.
me. It's
Oh
so
no,
funny.
it is funny. I think I called him Fink Jr.
Good.
the
Fink
entire
Jr..
time. Because Fink is like the enemy of the Lutesses in BioShock Infinite. Yeah. Yeah, that was not a good name. Anyway, the senior Snyder is supposed to be sort of the mastermind. He's the one who had who Oliver was working for and whom Oliver, Ryder, and Jen all, worked together to you know, take down. And after that, very shortly after that, it's not released in the episode, but very shortly after that, they all go to the academy. So they kind of leave, and there's a power vacuum. And who else best to step up for this power vacuum than the trust fund baby son of the mafia bad guy? That's what he's been doing. He's been trying to pick up the pieces that kind of got scattered when his father. Well, actually, his father likely died. Question mark. I don't know if that's actually canon, but I'm pretty sure.
Probably.
I'm pretty sure. Uh, Snyder Senior died in whatever happened between them. But Snyder Jr. is trying to pick up the pieces from that, trying to reestablish a mafia empire like his dad. He's just not very good at it. He is meant to be the trust fund baby, kind of mafia bosses, which is why it's fairly easy for Ryder to take him down in the thing. His role wasn't during the original story. He knows of all three of the people from that we know from Elysium. He knows of Ryder, Jen, and Oliver, but his role was greatly reduced. He was probably a lot younger than he was now.
That makes sense.
I hope I explained that coherently.
No, I think that all makes sense. I think that's good.
Okay.
I am curious though, since we didn't get a ton of questions about the writing aspect of the show on this time, just because. But I'm curious if there is anything from episode 10 that you were in particular like excited for or wanted to talk about.
Um, I One of my favorite scenes to write, and it's going to seem a little odd. One of my favorite scenes to write was actually Chase and Gil interacting when they're going to find Finale.
Oh, good.
I really enjoyed writing their interactions. They weren't two characters that got to talk a whole lot together, which was why I put them there in the first place. I wanted to split up Gil and Nemo and the established pairings of Chase and Tina and Gil and Nemo. So I wanted them to interact with more people. So they had a fun dynamic. I particularly enjoyed that Gil, being from a less technology savvy place, goes, "Oh yes, surely my fish fingerprints tricked the scanner, and that's why it opened." And Chase going, "That's not how that works." Um, that was one of my favorite lines. I did also enjoy writing Ryder's monologue. I got to write Ryder's monologue for episode 2 as well, because that's the other one of the other episodes I wrote. And writing Ryder's monologues is a lot of fun.
Good.
He's just very verbose as a character. He likes to talk a lot.
Yeah, it's a very fun type of character I say as I have a lot of current experience writing detective stuff for other unrelated media. Detectives are fun. I love detectives.
They are a lot of fun to write.
They are a blast.
There's one more question left, but I want to talk about something real fast, just from a art perspective. Just because I really enjoy the art direction for Elysium, and I want to point out all the fun little details that I came up with for it, and pat
You
myself on the
did
back
come
a
up
little
with a
bit.
lot of great details. You should absolutely applaud Juno for that.
I just think it's fun. My favorite part about this sort of back half of season one is that we get to go to all the different realms, and visually I wanted them all to be distinct from each other. And Elysium I was really looking forward to because Ryder is the main character, TM, and so the world is in black and white because he sees in black and white. That's why it's like that. and it was really fun to play with that from an art perspective and also just like the noir tropes of all of the dark shadows and silhouettes. And there was like a newspaper overlay over all of the stuff. And of course the blue slowly being introduced for key elements because, you know, the power of gay and whatever allows you to see colors.
Love that.
I just thought that it was very fun. All of the realms have their own little unique visual flavors, but I think Elysium is my personal favorite just because it's so out there and it's cool.
It's super visually distinct, which is a lot of fun. It's a great contrast.
It's. I wanted to make sure that they were all very distinct, so I hope I succeeded in that. And of course, all the artists did a great job carrying that through into the final episode. But as for our final question, uh, this is for everyone, but particularly at Fennec, but all of you can respond because there are elements to this question that you can all respond to. Are there plans for there to be motifs and or parallels, not necessarily just in the plot, but in the music, backgrounds, poses for the characters, etc.? This is from Katra.
Oh boy, well, uh, my immediate response is there already are a lot.
There's a lot.
Uh, there's like I'll probably mostly talk about the music, but there's a lot I can think of for just everything. Particularly in the music, pretty much every character has their own leitmotif.
Mm.
Um, which like we'll like change and expand on as we keep going. I know particularly for the songs, like the characters' themes I've mostly done are like Tina and Jen, and for them, I usually I give Tina an oboe in her themes, and Jen has a specific viola that I use in her themes as well. So in terms of instrumentation, I like keeping that consistent in terms of characters.
That is very cool. I used to play oboe, so I am personally attached.
Oh yeah, it's great. I don't remember why I chose oboe for Tina, but it's I think I just liked the sound of it, and it's not really like an instrument that you hear a lot in songs, I feel.
It fits though, I think.
Yeah, it's the vibes.
Mm.
And then Jen very much has the vibe of like this feels weird to say. I feel like just the vibes of like someone who'd play like violin or viola or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes
she
sense.
does.
Yeah.
I know you've also played around with the specifically for Jen's songs, that the titles of them are all within a theme.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's they're all named after parts of the scientific method pretty much, which is fun.
It's a fun little detail.
Yeah. I'm my naming is very inconsistent because I'll either like I've got like a mix of joke names, generic names, themed names, but it's fun. You can name things whatever you want.
Some of the songs have funky names.
Yeah.
If you
I
look at them,
particularly like Rats Runaway.
Rats is good.
Yeah. A lot of them I will just like look at the script for the scene where they're taking place and I'll be like,
Mhm.
yeah, that line works as a title.
I was wondering what the
Good.
naming convention was. That fits.
Yeah.
That fits really
Yeah.
well.
I will talk specifically as far as motifs and parallels in art. Um, I know, oh gosh, I don't want to get this wrong, but I believe it was E.T. who, this was from the last episode, did a parallel of the Bradbury Boys opening a door that was basically the same composition but flipped. If that was not E.T., I'm really sorry. But I think so. And I do know as far as art direction, people get to sign up for what pieces they want to do. Um, but if there's a fun parallel, we'll put the same artist on a scene that is similar to one they've done in the past.
Yeah,
There's
I think
more of
I
those
think
coming up. Wink, wink.
yeah, I think there's definitely I know definitely one I requested. I don't know if any of the other
Mhm.
writers have requested any, but I requested one for sure.
That one in particular is what I'm thinking of, but
Yeah.
there's a few others as far as fun art parallels of things to come. Um, I guess if there's any writing parallels or uh, just like theming stuff that you are in particular excited for.
Yeah. It's very hard to say things because if I say things, they're spoilers.
That's true.
So I am going to be vague, but still try and get my point across.
Mhm,
Motif, it can be a lot of different layers. What is a motif? What is foreshadowing? What is just a foil or two characters paralleling? Those all sort of kind of mix together, and Realm Jumper has a bit of all of them in there somewhere. Um, I would say, for specifically like motifs, I like having characters personally say things in how do I describe this? I can't give an example because I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I like having characters mirror something that has been said to them or repeat something that's been said to them, but it's in a different context. And I
mhm,
think that's
mhm.
happened in the show a couple times, or it will
It
happen.
has. Or it will.
Yeah.
I don't remember the order of events, but it does happen.
It does happen. That's kind of one of my favorite things to parallel because it also shows a bit about how the character thinks about things. One person might say something in a positive light, meaning it to be encouraging, and another person might take that same phrase and turn it very negative. This is
Mhm.
incredibly generic. I'm not pointing to any point in the show. But
Right. But just in general, that's fun. And that is a thing we do.
it is absolutely a thing we do when we're thinking about. Um it Even with all of the different writers, we do try and kind of keep that consistent so we can have those parallels throughout the season. So yeah, that's a very big and difficult coordinated effort, but we do try our best.
Mhm, mhm. There's so much foreshadowing in this goddamn show if you know what's happening.
hmm
There's so much. I think that's a good place to cut it off before we get into too many spoilers because I could talk about spoilers all day, but we're not going
We
to do that
could.
on this show. We could. You don't get that though.
Nope.
When you are seeing this, the next episode of Realm Jumper, episode 11, Off the Page, comes out on June 15th, Saturday at 3 p.m. EST. You should catch the episode then or join our public Discord server in order to watch the show live with us and give your thoughts, feelings, theories, whatever, to the cast crew and other fans in our lovely little fan server. Follow us on all the socials. Follow these lovely people on their socials. All of that will be in the description below. Any fun closing remarks? I'm going to take the silence as a no. Thank you for coming. See you all next time. Bye.
Later.
God. My mind entirely blank.